news just broke that within the next 24 hours, Donald Trump plans to sign an executive order calling for the complete elimination of the Federal Department of Education. And much like literally everything else that Republicans ever do, all of this is just motivated by their desire to give even more tax cuts and handouts to wealthy billionaires and multinational corporations. And I can prove it to you. Donald Trump wants to treat school performance in the exact same way that he treated COVID testing. Here's what I mean by that. Back in June of 2020, Trump famously said of COVID, if we just stopped testing right now, we'd have very few cases. Obviously, that was an insane thing to say. Testing for viruses doesn't in any way affect the actual number of people who have the virus. It just gives you the information to know how many people had the virus. In the same way, Donald Trump wants us to stop having the information about how our schools are actually performing. Consistently, the top performing states in public education are almost entirely Democratic run, and the bottom performing states in public education are almost entirely Republican run. In fact, of the top 10 states for public education in the nation, 5 of them are ruled by Democratic supermajorities, meaning that their governor, their state house, and their state senate are all run by the Democratic Party. And the other 5 all have very heavy Democratic presence in their state politics. Conversely, if you look at the bottom 10 states for public education, 7 of the 10 are run by Republican supermajorities. And 2 of the others have very heavy Republican presences in their state politics. Time after time after time, it is absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt proven that Republican policies for public education fail. Donald Trump and other Republicans know if they can eliminate the Federal Department of Education, they will be able to prevent the American people from ever knowing how public schools in each state are actually performing. Effectively, they want to turn school reporting into the same disaster that COVID reporting was during the pandemic. If you remember, back during Trump's first presidency, it was nearly impossible for us to know the actual correct numbers for a lot of states because that gathering of information and reporting out to the American people was done on a state-by-state basis. And some states were very diligent and very honest, and other states were neither of those things. We're looking at the same exact disaster incoming for education. If we have to rely on our states to accurately gather and report that data, we will never again actually know which states are succeeding and which states are failing. There will no longer be any guardrails to help make sure that states that are failing, like Oklahoma, 48th in education, at that point, the officials in charge in Oklahoma can, and as an Okie, I can confirm absolutely will, lie about how schools are performing. We already see this the entire time that Oklahoma has been at the complete bottom of performance for public education. The state superintendent, Ryan Walters, has been going out on every single conservative news outlet crowing about how incredible of a job Oklahoma is doing in education. If you were to only have what he says to go on, you would think that Oklahoma had the best possible public school performance imaginable. And that's because he is blatantly lying. Donald Trump wants to make it possible for Republicans to blatantly lie about how public schools are performing in their states so that we no longer will be able to prove that Republican policies, particularly Republicans' failure to adequately fund public education in their states, fails public schools. And if we can't prove that, they now have an easier way of cutting taxes for the wealthy and for corporations in those states even further. That is what this is about. They want you to no longer be able to see whether schools in your area are failing, because then you have even less ability to push back against lawmakers in your state when they try to give even more tax cuts and handouts to wealthy billionaires and multinational corporations. It is always about the money with them, period.